Glorious Sydney, a sight for sore eyes.
It's about celebrating our sexuality, the courage to be out there and say, here I am, and I am fine.
I don't think my folks even know that I'm going in it yet.
It's not just about sex.
Hi, Mum and Dad.
Heaps of creativity.
It's all volunteer.
We're angels.
Because everybody wants to look good.
A lot of sequins.
Waxing, no wax. Get down to the gym as much as you can.
You know how we like it? Huge.
You're not going like that.
And welcome to this, the ABC's 1995 coverage of the 18th Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras. I'm standing in the middle of Oxford Street under glorious Sydney skies where hundreds and thousands of people have come out to show their support for Sydney's gay, lesbian and greater queer community as they celebrate in a show of pride, unity and fabulous frocks that the fuller-bottomed of us can only dream of fitting into. Perched high above me in the safety, comfort and dryness of his Oxford Street lounge room is our specialist comments man tonight, Julian Cleary, and via a sophisticated telecommunications system, we will be maintaining contact with Julian. Is Julian ready? Yep. Julian! Can you hear me, Julian? Julian!
Yes, I can hear her. I think that's quite enough contact with Elle for one evening. Well, I am Julian Clary, specially imported to Australia for this evening's events, but I'm not alone in my lounge. There are a couple of people over here. Hello, Angela Caterns.
Hello, Julian. Good evening, everybody.
And playing footsie with her is David Marr.
Good evening, Julian, and hello to
David.
everybody.
Well, this is it. The number one, the lead float in tonight's parade, and a very glamorous affair it is. I think it's a homage to the mirror ball, David.
Yes, the sacred mirror ball. This float each year is a very closely guarded secret, really more closely guarded than the keel of Australia 2.
I've seen my first pair of breasts bouncing away there on the left.
The woman's breasts?
Yes, first pair of breasts of the Mardi Gras.
So what made you come tonight? Have you come with family? My daughter? Hello, how are you?
Waves of rain have been sweeping over this city all day, pouring down on the parade, then disappearing, and then pouring down again.
What do you think of the costumes, Angela?
These ones, Julian?
Yes.
Well, they're sort of minimalist, aren't they?
I like the triangle, and you can see little mounds through
Underneath.
the fabric, can't you?
Yes.
It's sort of something for everybody.
Oh,
There
here
she
they
is,
are.
absolutely, Patsy. There she is, and there she is again, there she is again.
Just as lovely in profile.
Oh, yes.
There's no one on television can smoke a cigarette like Patsy. Here are the women of Melrose Place.
And they're beautiful.
They are, oh, there's that one with the unfortunate drinking problem. These are the marching drags. They've been drilling for weeks. There was a terrible scene last week when they were told to, that they had to wear heels, and I understand you can't now buy a size 12 stiletto in Sydney. Somehow the Queen of England, and I think she'll be feeling at home today because, of course, it rained on her big parade, Julian, as you'll recall. It was very wet at the coronation.
Yes, but she's obviously enjoying this one a lot more.
Well, she still draws a crowd in this country.
Do you think she's brought Edward with her? Because I think Edward would enjoy this parade.
If Edward's here, I think he's on a float towards the back of the parade somewhere.
He likes theatrical things.
A few of the costume entries, I think, David.
A few of the costume entries.
Here's Nana.
This is an attempt to turn Nana Mouskouri into a gay icon. It may not work.
I think she's a gay icon already, David. I beg to differ.
Hello, darling, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Nana. Tell me, what is the attraction of Nana for you?
Well, Nana is a symbol to all of us that even if we can't see, can't sing, and looked horrible, we can all be involved with Mardi Gras, darling.
This is the Gay and Lesbian Counselling Service, which has really earned its place in this parade. The Counselling Service is the longest continuous gay organisation in Sydney.
And what are these coins all about tonight that you're carrying?
These are all the dreams that people ask us to help them find. Friendship, respect, love, all of those good things.
Juliana's, a very famous disco in Tokyo, an enormous Tokyo disco, which apparently now closed down. I don't know why.
Tachi! Hello! Konnichiwa!
Konnichiwa!
This is taking kabuki just one step further.
No, it's better than kabuki, you know.
Tell me,
Yeah.
how much opportunity is there to express gay pride in Japan?
Well, all of us now, it's funky conservative in Japan, so I'm glad to be here.
These people are from Goulburn, now a town hitherto only known for the big merino. But now it's clear that they too have a gay and lesbian community. What town doesn't?
I understand that the Pollies are the oldest gay club in the Southern Hemisphere.
As far as we know, we'd like to think it's the entire world, but that kind of information isn't really easily forthcoming.
Tears, laughter, joy, survival. And we have, you know, from those early days when 200 gathered to party. Boy, do we know how to party.
This is the first time this was ever done. It was 62, and we called it the picnic races. And we had Queen Victoria open the races. A lot of people were very lonely people, and this is where, particularly with the boys, but socially it was all private. Why it was so incredible was the fact that they actually drove down in their cars in Sydney in drag. I mean, people didn't get into drag.
This is the men?
Oh, yes. Well, or the girls, I should say.
I wish that we were as brave to push forward in the 60s like the kids are today. We're too scared because you would get bashed and you would get, you know, locked up for the night or whatever and punched. The most exciting time of my life was the opening night at Les Girls. And that's what sort of made it legitimate, because all of a sudden you weren't hiding around corners hoping that you weren't going to get picked up by the police.
We needed those people, desperately, for them to come out and just say, we are gay. Please accept us for what we are. Just don't bash us for what we are, just accept us.
We will always be a minority. We never will be anything but a minority. But the most important thing is we're doing something about it. We're standing up for what we consider our rights.
I just can't believe that it's happened in my lifetime, how it's changed rapidly in, say, 40 years. We just want to live the life that we think that we should be able to live. That's the important thing.
That's why Mardi Gras is so
That's why it's
good.
so important.
So important.
There have been others before us, and there'll be others after us. But for the time that we have now, live it like no other. A handful of courage can go a long, long way.
Here are the locker room boys. They've liberated the locker room. I'm sure Elle's going to try and find out if they're wearing anything under their towels.
This is a really silly place for a heterosexual girl to come on a Saturday night and look for a date.
I shall have to cover my eyes in a minute. Oh, that's spectacular,
Oh, my
isn't
dear.
it?
Gorgeous outfit.
Oh, not so good in close-up, but all the same. More fitness. What is going on?
There are water skiers being dragged behind this float, and one of the skiers being dragged is actually in drag. Tim Chappell designed the costumes in Priscilla and designed the costumes on this float, and in fact has been nominated for an Oscar, an Academy Award for his work in Priscilla.
Oh, a barbecue. That's a kind of Australian tradition, isn't it?
Now, these are the gals from the Outrageous Comedy Festival from all around the world, basically, in town for the Mardi Gras Festival.
Because the parade isn't just on its own here in the city. There's been a festival going on for about a month of gay and lesbian arts. There have been film festivals, musicals, plays, dancing in the streets, forums. And this year the festival's also been joined by some of the peak arts organisations in Australia. Comics have come from America, England, to learn how to be funny in Australia.
I've worked as a comedian, you know.
I'm from California in America, on the West Coast.
That's the place where the earthquakes are, isn't it?
That's where they start, yeah. I make them, actually. They're my fault.
And what's easier, working an earthquake or working a straight audience when you're a gay comic?
They're about the same, but this is a lot more glamorous.
Hold my love gently in your tenderness. Fold my love sweetly in your sweet embrace. Feel the beat of my heart.
Leather Queen's rotting. It's not much worse than what you see in a rugby league match.
I believe that all women are dummies. I don't care if they have husbands. I can see past them.
I'm actually 32, which is like 80 in gay years.
Oh, my head. Feel the beat of my heart. Woo! Feel the beat of my heart. Feel the beat of my heart. Oh. Feel the beat of my heart. Taste everything. Smell everything. Hear everything. Feel everything.
The single largest celebration of lesbian and gay cultural expression in the world.
Now these are the Byron Beach Boys.
These are the Byron Beach Boys. Oh, excuse me. Here we are.
Family viewing.
Oh, there are the dolphins. I hope they don't suffocate.
Again, on the coastal theme, these are the Coastal Links. They're the Mid-North Coast Gay and Lesbian Social Group.
They're not terribly interesting, are they?
They've started having parties and they're enjoying themselves hugely.
They look a little bit provincial to me. I mean, look at that banner.
What would the English know about provincial?
These are PFLAG. These are the parents and friends of lesbians and gays, out to show their love and respect for their children.
Tell me, what's the most important message you'd like to give tonight?
To parents, love your kids, especially if they're gay. Love them and accept them.
Well, now, who are these, Angela?
David, these are, I think, preceding the part of the South Pacific Motor Club. They're celebrating the 25th year of their club. It's a leather club, you know, which fundraises for various charities.
I think I picked up on that theme.
Yes, they're proud of it. Now, these are bears. These are large men.
And they're not slaves to body fashion.
Not at all slaves to body. Vintage men, again, this is an all-inclusive parade where some of the older style gay and lesbian are about. Some of them, we're told, are grandfathers.
Some members have been married. It must take a fair amount of courage to come out at an older age.
Yes, I've been married myself. I was married for 35 years. I've got 4 children, 6 grandchildren. But it takes courage, but it's also a wonderful thing when it happens.
So tell me, what's your motto for tonight?
My motto for tonight is we're gay, we're grey, and we're here to stay.
And he's sticking to that one.
There's Mumsy.
There's Mumsy. She's one person walking in costume. It's a stylish drag number.
This is Boomerangs, the Boomerang social group.
And they feature fairies in the forest, Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, and assorted Australian fairies.
Lots of moustaches coming up now.
This is Leather Pride. These people are proud of their leather.
I think it's a kind of miracle the way the rain stopped just as the parade started, don't you?
It is, it's a miracle.
It was relentless all day, and I think it's a sign that the heavens are smiling on the gay and lesbian community.
If the rain holds off for the whole parade, this could be Mary MacKillop's second miracle. It could be the one that gets her the sainthood. Now, these people aren't necessarily as frightening as they look.
Oh, I don't like that sort of thing. Do you, David? Does that do anything for you?
It puzzles me.
But anyway, they're having fun. They enjoy it, and the S&M thing is a bit of a subculture within the gay and lesbian community. This is the new flag. They've invented an Australian version of the International Leather Pride flag.
What do they need their own flag for?
Going into battle, the standard.
And Mardi Gras.
Because, you know, we don't really have parties in England.
Well, they're illegal, aren't they?
It is illegal.
It's illegal to have a good time in London.
And frankly, I'm shocked by what I've seen. Corruption. Corrupting the youth of Australia.
These are some people into glamorous fetishes. A bunch of people who got tired of just watching the parade and decided to join in this year.
This, in fact, is mythical S&M. We're told that even though the servants have headpieces, horns, and are tied down with chains, they are happy in their role.
I think that's important.
Helix is a group from the North Shore of Sydney, a staid area in Sydney which often thinks it can't have fun. But this float is here to prove that under some circumstances it can. That's fabulous. The float's designed by James Gordon. It's a big silver moon. That is Venus, the love goddess. Little touch of Rio here. Queens of the universe.
This is the Queer Youth Cultural Coalition.
These are kids who've moved into Sydney from other towns, outlying parts, to live in their own community.
And they're trying to increase the visibility of young lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transsexuals here. Many of them are even too young to go to gay venues.
Hello, the Queer Youth Cultural Coalition. Tell me, the word queer has come back into vogue. What does it stand for?
It just means that you can be gay, you can be bi, you can be whatever you like, whatever sex you want, and it's okay to be that way.
Now these are the Bond women. Another fantasy that lives on in the imaginations of the gay and lesbian community in Sydney.
This is the Sydney Young Lesbian Support Group. And with their entry tonight, they're making a tribute to Vamp. They saw the 20s, or rather they see the 20s, as a time when women started to take more control over their own sexuality and their own image.
And here's Go-Go Fish.
Now, Go-Go Fish have got an interesting theme tonight. They're sending up the relationship between dykes and fish.
Something I've never understood, I must say.
If we could only stop and talk to them, we could find out. Superbly choreographed. Again, dykes showing powers of organisation that men can't
Absolutely
hope to match. Julian, these people are living clean and sober.
What does that mean?
I think they're marching to the 12-step.
The float involves people who've been addicted to alcohol or drugs and who now choose to abstain. It's actually a group of recovering addicts.
These people as well? What's she recovering from?
I'm not sure.
Last night, I think.
She's got a big night ahead of her too. Lesbian and Gay Pride, an entry from Western Australia. They've come all the way across the Nullarbor.
They shouldn't have.
In Western Australia, the government believes that sex starts at 21. You've got to hold on till you're 21.
What are you guys doing to try and get some equality over there in WA?
Well, we work hard on our politicians, but we would encourage the rest of Gay and Lesbian Australia to come to our festival in October and November for under 21-year-old gay men to bring their chastity harnesses with them.
These are toys. Just dizzy queens, they describe themselves as. It's a gift box addressed to Sydney. Love from Adelaide.
Adelaide is known as the city of
churches
and parks, isn't it?
Yes.
I spent a few days there once, and I was hardly off my knees the whole time.
Devotion. It's good to hear. This is the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Choir, which has won prizes, now the subject of a film. They put out CDs.
I worked with them 2 years ago at the Mardi Gras, you know.
You sang with them?
We sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Look at the conductor.
That's the conductor, of course, in Mozartian dress. Gay and lesbian teachers and students.
Very modest banner, isn't it?
With a serious purpose. They're fighting homophobia in Australian schools. Another touch of Rio here. Julian, can you wear that kind of thing?
Well, I'm not good in green, sadly. But feathers I am no stranger to.
This is the queer collaboration. The University Queer Groups United.
And we're told that many of the students haven't actually eaten for weeks in order to afford the glitter for the float.
That's right, they're poor, starving students.
Here we are from Brisbane.
Tonight. Absolutely amazing! First Mardi Gras? Yes, ever! And how does it make you feel? Amazing! Words cannot describe it. Hi, Mum!
Oh, that's a bit spectacular.
It is spectacular, isn't it?
Fireworks.
Someone's peaked a bit early, I feel.
This is the No Wood Chips people.
The Greens and their vile about Nile. That's their message tonight.
Here are the politicians marching, representing New South Wales parliamentarian. There's Andrew Refshorgi, who is the deputy leader of the opposition. Susan Harbin, who is standing for election. Paul O'Grady is the first...
He's really let himself go, hasn't he, Paul?
These are the marching girls.
And here are the Sydney Asian lesbians.
They're portraying a traditional Chinese wedding, but with 2 brides and 2 mothers.
I met that one there the other day. That's Dr. Happy Ho.
Happy Yin Yen Ho, yes.
Good name, isn't it? I'm off to see Dr. Happy Ho.
And so, for the Asian lesbians watching tonight, what sort of message would you like to give them?
I say, be brave, be bold, the world is yours.
This is the Lesbiz float. These are representing lesbians in business. And they're aiming to encourage lesbians to start their own businesses and support the existing ones. They've got a giant cash register on their float.
What sort of businesses do lesbians in Australia run?
The public service.
Is that a business?
More and more.
Travel.
Trucking. The law.
Catering.
Catering.
Ice creams.
Anything to do with transport.
Chewing gum.
Oh,
who's
there's
that?
Liz and Clover.
There's Clover Moore, who's the local member.
They've colour coordinated beautifully, haven't they?
She's an independent member of the New South Wales Parliament, and with her is Liz Kirby, who's a Democrat member of the New South Wales Parliament.
Oh, here's the security.
Here is the Pope. Now, this time the Pope is actually moving up Oxford Street. A few months ago, when he was here, he crossed Oxford Street and blessed a group of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. The Pope has come back to Sydney in a rather changed frame of mind. He is now distributing condoms to the crowd.
He's looking marvellous for his age, don't you think?
Tell me, Your Holiness, what message are we actually preaching here?
We are here to spread the safe sex message.
But the Catholic Church does do a lot of AIDS work in terms of helping victims of HIV and AIDS.
Yes, but we want the message to get through that people must always practice safe sex. Here, have a condom, special souvenir Pope pack.
Thank you very much.
The Australian Sailing and Cruising Club are coming up the street now.
Outdoor water sports.
It's a group of gay and lesbian people affiliated to the Yachting Association of Australia, and they have sailing races and regattas. And the boat on their float is glamorously called Beryl. Julian, you've been sailing with this group recently.
Yes, I had a lovely day out on the water. Apart from the unfortunate boom thing that flies around, and you have to keep bobbing your head up and down, which, you know, doesn't come naturally to some of us.
These are the sweeties of the sea, gay and lesbian surfers from all around the East Coast and from New Zealand as well.
It's amazing. 2 hours ago, it was teeming with rain, and now it's a fine summer night.
And you can see the stars.
The glitter is sticking to people, their suntans haven't run. It's a miracle.
This is the Sydney Underwater Bushwalking Club. Featuring the pink octopus and the yellow submarine. I wonder what music they're playing.
They've said that it's going to be tragically appropriate, so I suppose it's the Beatles. This is the centenary of the trial of Oscar Wilde. 100 years ago, this year, he was tried twice for sodomy and sent to jail for 2 years.
He was English, you know.
Yes, and it was a brand new law in England, and they tried it out on him, and it worked. Coming up the street now, it's one of the most important floats in the parade. This is the Ankali float. Ankali are the people who care for people suffering with HIV and AIDS. There are all sorts of members. They're all volunteers. There are priests and ex-priests and nuns and ex-nuns and straight men and women, old and young.
Do you know what Ankali means?
It's an Aboriginal word, and it means friend, I think. Friend or helper.
Well, it's a sharing and it's a caring. It's a being there for someone and helping them through their journey whilst they're living with HIV and AIDS. And that's such a privilege. And we get such a reward from doing that sort of thing.
After chemo, the first lot of chemo, when my hair started going funny, we're all sitting around having a few drinks and I was bitching about it. And my model goes, oh, don't be stupid, your hair's not falling out. And he reached over and grabbed him, just pulled this huge hunk of hair out. It was like, oh.
Would you fancy a nip in the water?
No, I'd love to, but I've got these cancerous things in my chest now. I just find it a bit embarrassing to jump in the water these days.
cover them up with foundation.
Yeah, we can. You can get good foundation, but I just couldn't be bothered, really.
These are the tuberoses, as well as the sarcoma. Like, you wonder about somebody sort of swimming along with these on them, what was happening with them, whether they're into having cigarettes put out on them or something like that. So I sort of avoid being in public without a shirt on anymore, which is a bit ironic doing this, really.
It can be very tough because you don't know what's going on, so you get phone calls and you know that he's in hospital or he's not in hospital.
But no, to come here immediately, sort of like people you don't know, and know you have to sit here twice a day for, well, they basically say the rest of my life. It was scary.
This is some GCSF, a drug that stimulates Jim's body to produce more white blood cells.
Yeah, it's because of this stuff.
Yeah.
Takes them away. Yeah. Of course, you hear all these horror stories about people sort of like being thrown out of, thrown out of their homes, their families deserting them and all that sort of business.
You couldn't describe the extent of the support that the whole of our immediate family and our extended family are given to us.
I'm happy to see him so well and so acknowledged and loved by all the family, but I've got this dreadful dread. I'm frightened of the end. I'm frightened. I want to be with him. I want to make it as easy as possible, but yes.
We'll be very close to Jim as the disease develops. And that's the way it should be too.
This is Operation Safe Sex. Their message is safe sex. Any time's a great time for safe sex.
I'm not clear on the symbolism of that float. It's
Well, they're safes, get it?
Oh, they're two safes having sex. Oh, God, I'm slow. Followed by a contingent of dancers. They're men, most of them, and therefore they're out of step.
Everyone's business.
Which is the Aboriginal and Islander HIV and AIDS float.
And their message is basically visibility for Aboriginal and Islander people with HIV/AIDS.
He's enjoying himself, isn't he?
He is.
He enjoys himself every year. And here are some of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence.
Bless them.
Bless them.
This is an Asian fantasy, the Orient Express.
Again, Oriental expression.
Now, the leading lady of this group is the mother of one of the boys on the truck.
And they're from Thailand and China, Malaysia, Indonesia, England, you'll be interested to know, Julian, Australia,
oh yes,
France.
And this is the ACON, the AIDS Council of New South Wales float, celebrating their 10th anniversary.
And remembering all those who've died in those years from AIDS.
And
These
here they
are the marching boys.
These are the marching boys.
They're quite famous, aren't they?
They've been rehearsing since, I think, last October.
It's quite a rigorous audition process, I believe.
Absolutely rigorous audition.
Hard to get into.
But whether you can actually move is one of the last things they check up on.
Oh, they're quite well synchronized.
Yep.
And brown, very brown. What are they wearing, Julian?
Well, it's hard to describe. It looks like something that's been through the shredder. And little things below the knee.
Sort of ski boot covers.
Someone's facing the wrong direction there. Typical.
Now, come on, this is remarkable line work. They've got miles to go.
And I believe they keep it up right to the end.
All Walks of Life is a float representing the many different professions in which gays and lesbians work. Police, doctors, footballers, mechanics, firemen, school teachers. I believe there's even butchers on that float.
Of course there are, and priests.
Aloha from Hawaii. This is our international contingent.
These men have come from Hawaii for the parade. They certainly know what to do with a palm frond. Here is a homage to the late Frank Thring, Australian actor who died last year. Frank Thring, a camp monster, much loved, played all of the baddies in the New Testament and then was the baddie in the Mad Max films. The float, I understand...
What does that mean? Sorry, that big finger sticking up.
It's a kind of victory sign, a kind of acknowledgement that Frank might have gone to heaven.
Oh, how lovely.
The float represents a struggle between angels and devils for Frank's soul.
Tell me, how did Frank contribute to the life?
Oh, he was an icon. He was an icon of the movies back in the days when they knew how to make movies.
We'll miss him greatly.
We will indeed. Long live Frank Thring.
And this float, of course, has the icon factor, which is very important to Mardi Gras.
Very high icon factor. When you think of Nana Muscuri, a new icon, and Frank Thring, a new icon.
And here they are in their flannies, the grunge team. These are the Westies against homophobia, wearing their flannies, promoting queer life in the western suburbs.
This is the Cronulla Gay Group's float, the Barber Fella float. If you can bear with me for a moment. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Tell me, you guys have had a float in the parade every year since 1982.
18 years, yeah, nearly.
Tell me, how has it progressed? How has the parade developed?
Oh, wonderful. Just bigger and bigger every year. Just great.
Red, white and blue. Does that mean they're English?
No, Julian, it doesn't mean they're English.
What does it mean?
They've made a fashion error. There are some die-hard, I was right, die-hard lifestyle victims here, dancing around in a structured dance piece. Not all of them gay or lesbian by any means, but they consider themselves part of that community. Part of a movement in the parade this year to dress in 18th century gear.
Yes, now what is that all about, David?
Well, I did some research on this point, and I'm told that the thing is that in the 18th century, you could wear a white wig and brocade and still be considered normal.
I see.
Be considered what?
Normal.
Normal.
And here are some men in brocade and wigs, and they're also in the colours of the rainbow flag. Now, the Australian Ballet could take note of a couple of things here.
They've got fans as well, a feature that, an accessory that I've been featuring this evening.
This is the spirit of Latin America. Representatives from Argentina, Ecuador, Brazil.
Also spreading the safe sex message.
This is a bunch of about 40 dykes who've decided to recreate the ice scene from Sally Potter's movie.
It's medieval theme here. King, queen, court, dungeon masters, slaves somewhere.
What is it? What's going on?
It's a scene from Orlando.
This is the recreation of a film, one of the most ambitious floats in the parade. The idea is to recreate some of the gorgeous scenes from the film Orlando. Here's Say It With Flowers, Gay and Proud.
And here is the entry we were a bit worried would actually make it past the marshalling point, David.
But it's just fine. It's an educational float. It's called Venus Parked Have Fun.
And it's basically celebrating women's sexuality, lesbian or heterosexual.
Another wave of rain has come over the parade, but it's going on undaunted.
These are the Twisted Sisters. They're out, they're proud, and they're having fun.
One of them is Paul, and his mother taught him to sew. But of course, for a lot of the costumes here tonight have depended, as they always do, on Mother's help.
If this was in England, we'd all stop for a cup of tea now.
Here are the Melbourne Boot Scooters, about 36 people in all, dancing in triangle formation, very symbolic.
Are they bisexual?
No, they're boot scooters.
Oh, right.
What is it about boot scooting that makes it so popular within the community? You can do it alone. Well, certainly, the feel down here on the street is one of community, friendship and pride, as we found out earlier this month at the Fair Day.
Hi, Mum.
Fair Day is going to be alive and jumping, and we're selling steak sandwiches.
Tell me what makes the Cronulla Gay group different from all other gay
It's the
groups?
sauce. We're here together to have lots of fun and celebrate who we are.
We're allowed to be glamorous now, whereas once upon a time we had to wear dungarees and, you know, stay at home and hide.
How do you feel about the day for the gay community?
Great. Some of them people are better than the ones we've got running the country.
I didn't think it'd be nearly as big. You know, the dog show's a great hoot, don't you?
You come straight up here, you look charming. Now, what sort of a breed would you be? I'm actually a long-haired mongrel bitch. Not the only one here today.
Delby, what does it mean to be crowned Miss Fair Day?
Well, I see it as a launching pad for my daughter.
I see it as
Fair Day this year, Diva next year, Goddess the year after.
Our winner is Miss White Trash. Miss White Trash is 29 years of age. She's had a very hard life.
First time I've entered.
And look at you, you've walked off with the prizes.
Yes, come all the way down from Newcastle.
And what do you plan to do in your year as Miss Fair Day?
Promote Newcastle to the hilt.
Yes.
And just look glamorous all the time, like I am now.
But has anyone ever told you about waxing?
No? Do I have a problem?
Come with me.
Oh, all right.
This is Let's Talk About Sex. It's the Eastern Sydney Area Health Service, funded through the New South Wales government. I don't think the New South Wales government will be taking away money next year for the cost of the cozies and float.
This is the Chinese women's swimming team. I'm so glad they've made it.
Well, they
Aren't they
can't
strong?
swim in races anymore, so they've come to the Mardi Gras parade.
And they look fabulous.
And hasn't it worked? Marching proudly under one of the last red flags on earth.
There it is. There's Thomas the Tank Engine.
A favourite float.
It's got wings this year, I believe.
This year it's dedicated to servicemen. And aren't they making the most of it?
Aren't they?
That's my favourite so far. It's very simple, isn't it? But very visual and funny.
These are the trade unions working to end discrimination.
And also to get the message of gay and lesbian tolerance into the trade union movement itself.
He's tying a knot there, isn't he? He's in a world of his own, that punter.
Here's the Illawarra Career Group. Many of these actually work in the steelworks in Wollongong, which they love because they say it's somewhere where you can keep fit and get paid for it.
What are they working at?
This is a dance routine.
It's the Siren Softball Club now.
I understand this is the first time that the Siren softball team has been in Mardi Gras.
It certainly is.
How do you find in the competition the other teams react to an all-lesbian softball team?
They don't like getting beaten by us, that's for sure.
And have you won this year?
We lost in the grand final, but don't tell anybody.
I won't tell anybody. I understand Julian Clary's been auditioning for you.
And he failed. He failed terribly.
This is my Hannibal Lecter look. Go, go.
Okay, play the ball between your legs, between your legs.
I know your game.
Very much.
Don't touch me. Not now. I'm in makeup. Referee, I'd like to report a forward pass. I'd rather be a ball boy. I win. Game to the man with the nicest legs. Oh, how inconvenient. Seamen everywhere. Oh, that was all too much. This is more my kind of sport.
This is a group titled Pride, a diverse community-based group inclusive of all the elements of the queer community.
Crowds going wild for the Cairns Rainforest Meets the Reef float.
Have you ever been there, Julian?
I have been to Cairns. In fact, I went for a holiday at a gay resort.
This is the Hunter gay and lesbian community marching now.
They come from the Hunter Valley north of Sydney, where they mine coal and grow grapes, and they have a flag of their own.
I think we can see his flag.
The winner of this year's Mr. White, sorry, let me say that again, of Mrs. White Trash at the fair is somewhere on that float. And now more country floats.
Oh, here are the groups from the Northern Tablelands.
Where on earth is that?
Well, sort of Armidale, Tamworth, Inverell, Maureen, Narrabri.
Is that why they're so bad at dancing?
It's their first time, they're Mardi Gras virgins.
And it's
all a bit much for them, obviously.
It's part of the strong emphasis in the parade this year of people from the country. This is not just an inner city bonanza, it is from the country as well.
Another group from Wagga Wagga.
Again, the country. And this is the town that wanted the gay and lesbian Mardi Gras choir to change its name because they found it just a little bit embarrassing, and then the choir went on and won the competition.
What did they want to call it? Confirmed bachelors. Quite spectacular, that outfit.
These are proud to be carers.
Oh, look.
They're from the nursing unit at Fairfield Hospital in Melbourne. They are saints.
I've changed my outfit. Can you see, Angela?
What is that?
a giant quilted palace.
Robin Hood and her merry companions, and Robin in this case is spelled R-O-B-Y-N. It's a kind of ladies' Sherwood Forest.
Really?
And there's somebody trying to start the victor.
Oh, here's Snow White and her 7 drag dwarfs. These people reckon it must have been 7 gay men she was living with. How else can you explain that she was still a virgin? Bronwyn Bishop, unmistakably.
Oh, she was in last year's, wasn't she?
Yes,
They just dusted her down, obviously.
She's not quite the focus of attention this year that she was last year. And here's Tranny Pride.
The Transgender Liberation Coalition.
And they've won their place.
It's the first ever Tranny Pride float.
But trannies are the only people in Australia who get to decide our own gender, and we have such a powerful statement to make because of that. Everyone else lets their genitals or their social influences determine it. We make decisions for ourselves. We take control of our bodies, and we're the only people in Australia who do it. And that's something to be wonderfully proud of.
And if someone asks you whether you're a man or a woman, what do you say?
I usually say yes.
And here is the Mary MacKillop float. Here are the Tasmanians.
Good on them.
Who've won a great political victory and got the federal government to put legislation in effect which will stop their government in Tasmania sending them to jail for being gay and lesbian. It's a little outcrop at the far edge of the world, but hasn't quite caught up yet.
I spent 5 days there last November on tour, and you know you can't have sex and you can't have oral sex and you can't wear drag.
Yes, you're not allowed to wear drag after dark. You can in daylight.
After 6 o'clock in the evening.
After 6 o'clock in the evening.
Well, that's clever.
Gay and lesbian rights lobby, celebrating how much has changed, but also how much still needs to be done.
Tell me, how do you think Australia rates on the world stage?
Very, very well. I mean, it has to be admitted that the laws here for us are excellent, but we still have problems like relationships, and we still have problems with immigration, we still have problems with superannuation. Our partners still have to fight to get hold of our wills should we die. There's a lot of problems like that.
Does Mardi Gras help the cause?
I think Mardi Gras helps people realise how many of us there are, and the point of our campaign tonight is to say that we come from everywhere and that we live next door to you.
Here are the Victorians, all the way from Melbourne, dressed to the nines, representing Victoria.
Or more Victorians, do you think?
Yes, and here's the Pride of New Zealand. Each year in the parade, a big contingent from New Zealand.
I thought the Pride of New Zealand was their butter.
It is. They're very proud of that too.
Oh, it's all drawing to a close. Do you realise?
It
It's
is.
flown by. There's only a couple more left.
Here's Versailles. Glamour, fashion, style, the absolute essence of Mardi Gras. And look at that low loader.
And in fact, it's the last float in
Oh,
the 1995
The huge finale.
Mardi Gras.
Can't we go back to the beginning again?
Oh, and look, can you believe that the rain has actually stayed away? From Angela Catterns, good night.
From David Mark, good night.
And that's all from me here tonight, a little transgender Julie.
From this imported homosexual, Julian Clary, having a lovely time in Sydney. Thank you, and good night.
And it's good night from the soggy token heterosexual.
Everybody's free. Feel good. Everybody's free.
Everybody's free.
Hello, Julian, it's Elle. How was I?
Oh, great. As always, Elle.
Oh, really? Listen, are we still on for tonight?
Well, I'm very tired, Elle, and I expect you are as well. You've had a big day.
Well, I'll try and get a taxi. Good night.
I've ditched her. Shall we go then?